Welcome to the introductory video for the Warehouser open source project. This video is intended for software developers interested in learning how Warehouser can simplify and enhance the development of warehouse management systems, or WMSs. Warehouser is published at github.com/warehouser/warehouser and is offered under the Apache 2.0 license. It is developed using the Python programming language and the Django web development framework. It is assumed you are familiar with both these technologies, but if not, we provide some useful links in the description of this video where you can find more information and access their broad community for support. In this video, we will demonstrate how to download, install, and configure Warehouser. Warehouser is available at github.com/warehouser/warehouser. And when you load that web page, you will be greeted with the Warehouser project homepage, including a directory listing of all the Warehouser assets. Find the install file and click on it. This will bring up the contents of the install file, which are the detailed instructions we will follow during this demonstration. On my local PC, I have already installed Python. If you do not have Python installed, you can go to python.org and follow the installation instructions there. This is beyond the scope of this video. I have also installed the pip package called virtual env. Therefore, I will begin this demonstration starting from step number 3. Here I have opened a command prompt on my Windows PC and chosen a directory to install Warehouser. From there, I issue the following command: git clone https://github.com/warehouser/warehouser.git and enter. And we can see that we have installed Warehouser, and we cd into the Warehouser project directory. And now we need to create a virtual environment. To do that, we say virtual env, one word, and then you give your virtual environment a name. I'm going to call mine venv. Hit enter. This might take a second or two, and it's done. Now we can see that the virtual or venv virtual environment has been created in this directory here. So now we need to activate the virtual environment. And this is different depending on what sort of operating system you are using. Just quickly, if you are on a Unix-based operating system, you would say source, the name of your virtual environment, which in my case was venv /scripts, capital S scripts /activate. But because I'm on a PC, I do not use the source command. I just simply call that script directly. Now we can see that the virtual environment is active because the name of the virtual environment, venv, is in parentheses at the beginning of the command prompt. Now we can install all the pip packages required for Warehouser to run properly. And to do that, we have the following command: pip install -r and then Warehouser pip/requirements.txt. This is a file that contains a list of all the required pip packages, and it will help install everything you need. So you hit enter. Now this command will probably take a minute or two, and so I will cut this video and rejoin you when it's complete. Now the pip install has successfully completed. The next step is to create the Warehouser database. Warehouser relies on the Django Web Development Framework, or the Django project. In turn, Django supports a finite set of database engines. For more information, you can visit the Django project's official documentation at this link in the install file. It is strongly recommended you select only from the supported database engines. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will be using PostgreSQL, which I have already installed and have running on my local machine. If you wish to use another database engine, you will need to create a database user and a database to which you grant that user full privileges. So now I will access my Postgres database using the PSQL command. I supply my port number and I say Postgres to access the Postgres database using the Postgres user. Hit enter, and the standard default password for the Postgres user is Postgres, and I now have entry, and I can see that this is a clean installation of Postgres. It has the Postgres database and the two template databases, and we need to create a new database specifically for Warehouser. But first, we have to create a user. But in Postgres, they call them roles. So I'll create role, and I'm going to call it Warehouser with login, create DB, and a password of Warehouser, which of course you will choose a much more secure password than Warehouser. And now we have our new database user, Warehouser. So now I will connect to the Warehouser user. To do that, I say /c minus, then Warehouser, and I'll enter in the super secure password. And now I am connected to as the Warehouser user. Now I'm going to create a database. So I say create database Warehouser, semicolon, and enter. And now I have created the Warehouser database. And it is owned by Warehouser user. And that's it. We can exit. I have switched to my integrated development environment, Visual Studio Code, and opened the Warehouser project. The next step is to tell Warehouser how to find the Warehouser database that we just created. To do that, open the .env.git file that you will find at the project base directory. You will see a list of mostly blank settings. We do not want to edit this file. Instead, copy the settings and create a new file at the project base directory called .env, paste and save. In this file, we will set the environment-specific settings. You should supply a unique .env file for each environment you choose, such as development, testing, and production. This file will be ignored by Git commands. Therefore, you can set the environment-specific settings for each environment individually using this file. I'm going to start by changing the debug value to true with a capital T. And the Django secret key is a setting that the Django project recommends you set as an environment variable rather than in a settings file. And if you wish to do it that way, you should comment out or even delete this line altogether. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I am going to define the Django secret key in this file here. And it is just a random sequence of characters that is hard to remember and hard to guess. The time zone, I'm just going to set to my local time zone. And now I want to focus on the database settings. I've used PostgreSQL, and we already have as the DB engine setting the correct PostgreSQL Django database driver class name. If you choose a different database, you will need the correct database engine driver class name, which you can find at the Django project's official documentation. But for now, we have PostgreSQL set. And we now enter in the details of the database and the user that we created. So it's Warehauser was the name of the database. It was the name of the user, and we had a very secure database user password. And in my case, the database host is on my local machine, so I'm going to give it this IP address, and I have installed it so that it runs on a non-standard port of 5433. Just quickly, the email settings we won't be demonstrating in this video, but they're settings for when you wish to have Warehouser send out emails and you put the email server settings in these settings here. I won't be putting them in because I have my own username and password and that's secret. So you can put that in if you wish, but right now I am going to save and close these .env files. So now we have pointed Warehouser to the correct database. We need to create the create scripts for all the database tables. To do this, in the project root directory, we say Python manage.py, and this is one word, make migrations, plural, with an S on the end. Python manage.py make migrations. Hit enter. Now we have to say the same command but add a core on the end. So Python manage.py make migrations core, C-O-R-E. So now we have created the create scripts for all the tables. Now we have to run those create scripts. To do that, we say Python manage.py and migrate, like so, and hit enter. So now it is successfully completed. All the lines end with ... OK, which is what we want to see. Now we need to create a Django user super user. This is different from the database user. This is a Warehouser user. To do that, we say Python manage.py create super user, all one word. I'm going to call my super user Warehouser, and I'm going to give it a Warehouser at warehouser.org, but you put in your own email address, of course, and I'm going to put in a super secure password, and it complains that it's too close to my username, so I'm going to override that and say yes. So now we have created a super user. So now the only thing we need to do to officially start the Warehouser system is type python manage.py run server. Now the Warehouser server is running. Unfortunately, it's not doing anything of useful work. So in the next video, we will describe how to make Warehouser manage a warehouse. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.